No, just kidding.
All right, here we are. We are live, guys.
As you shouldn't.
Welcome everybody in the YouTube channel. Discord's already been hearing us for a little while here. They got a little bit of the early pre-show warm up here. But how's everybody doing in chat? Can everybody hear us okay? Can you guys speak up just a couple of seconds here? No, you can't.
I got a mouthful of pizza still.
Okay. Kingsley, can you give him a little audio just to make sure they can hear you good?
Hello, here's your little audio.
There it is. Thank you.
Little baby audio.
Can everybody just doing a quick sound check here? Everybody can hear our guests.
On YouTube, though, you kind of have my face cut off where, like, right below my lips.
I do. I'll fix that. I'll fix that.
Look like you're peeking out over water.
I'll fix that. Yeah, you are cut off. Sorry about that, man. Can you raise your seat a little bit?
I'm perfect in Discord. What else do you want me to do?
It's on the overlay.
Hey, Todd's camera adds.
If I raise my seat, I'll be messed up in Discord.
You do look like you're son of a bitch.
Look, someone take a screenshot of Discord. There's nothing I'm doing wrong.
No, Discord's always perfect. I'm basing all the windows off of Discord. I don't understand why. Sorry, dude. Sorry. It would be too much backstage stuff to do it on while we're live now.
Here,
so.
I'll go up a
there.
little bit.
Yes, there it is.
But okay. Still though, like it's so zoomed in, both you and me.
I had to blow you. I had to blow your picture up because I had to fit at the screen. So. No. You're no. In all honesty, your face is very, very focal versus Sin. Sin has more background. You don't. But I don't know. Anyway.
I'm just wondering why it looks so bright.
What's up, JD?
If you're ever looking just on YouTube, we look a lot better in Discord, by the way. JD, you should check it out real quick at some point.
That's up, JD Kent. How you doing, man? All right. I say we get going, guys. I think everybody can hear us. So let's get rolling here. We got a lot. Oof, what a show. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous about tonight's show, but I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes tonight. So got some spicy topics. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 296 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the GATR, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we are a weekly Destiny and gaming show and have been producing audio episodes for over 5 years now. Things have changed a little over the years, and our show has grown a bit. And one of those changes is that we've decided to produce a live version of our show on YouTube and in our Discord stage channel, where you can interact with us live and chat with us right on the show. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. I always announce a reminder in our Discord, and that is discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. We are starting at 10 o'clock, an hour later tonight, because our guest, Mr. Sin Media, had to get home from work, and he'll talk about that a little bit later on. And of course, we have a replay of the show on YouTube if you want to watch it back and you can't make it, or maybe in a different country, a different time zone. So it's always available to you also. And of course, our beautiful audio listeners out there, whatever podcast app you're using, or you can go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, listen to any of our back episodes as well on demand. This week, it is our monthly roundtable episode. For those of you who may be new to this format, once a month, we produce a roundtable episode whereby members of our community bring a topic, story, article, or just a point of view to the table. And the topics can be anything related to the gaming industry, entertainment, social media. I mean, basically anything that pertains to our lives out there. Each of us will introduce our topic, give our opinions and takes on it, but then we go around the table and everyone else chimes in and adds to the topic of conversation. In this month's Roundtable, I have my co-host from the great state of Utah. It's Mr. Kingsley Mack, who has brought his topic tonight. How are you doing, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing good. Good. Glad to be here again, and I'm so excited to be here with our guest.
Yes, I am too.
It's kind of weird to say guest, but
it's really weird. It's like deja vu.
We're back in the saddle.
It's like deja vu. I feel like I'm on the Guardian Hub podcast again. It's so weird. We were just talking about that before we went live. Speaking of which, that voice you heard, we have a returning guest Roundtable on the show tonight. He's been a longtime supporter of our show and was the co-host of the Guardian Hub podcast and has that wonderful radio voice we all love. He's a mod and previous speedrun champion in our community as well. And his life has been a bit on the crazy side this last year, which I'm sure we're going to hear about a little bit tonight. It's just been a while since we've talked, and what a great way to catch up with him than on a Roundtable episode. He has brought his topic as well tonight, and it's a bit of a spicy one, I'm not going to admit. So please, everyone, welcome my friend, Mr. Sin Media. How you doing, man?
Hey, I am well. Thanks for having me on. It's, as I was trying to say there earlier, it's like getting back in the saddle again.
It is.
Kingsley and I are initiating a hostile takeover, apparently.
We thought about doing a Guardian Hub intro. Maybe we can record one later and I'll put it in the audio episode. But yeah, that would have been fun.
Just wait for the outro.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's right. That's right. Excellent. So what you're going to say, it's going to be a little magical?
Oh, it's always going to be magical.
Good deal.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I like it. Well, before we get into our topics tonight, we have some catching up to do, especially with Mr. Sin Media tonight. So we're going to do that when we return.
Never.
Right after the break.
All right. Well, let's do this before we get into our topics tonight, guys. We do have a little bit of TWAB we need to get into as well tonight, and it's going to be very brief on the TWAB this week in Destiny. There's some stuff I do want to mention because there is some important stuff in there I want to make sure we do share for people who do tune into our show for information in the Destiny-verse. But before we get into our topics tonight, I'm just curious what, you guys have been all up to this week in life and gaming and whatever, especially you, Sin, since it's been a while, man. So what have you been up to, man? What's going on in your life? And have you been gaming? What have you been doing, man?
Oh, work. Work has been my life for a while, unfortunately. And gaming-wise, sticking with Destiny. The little bit that I do get to play. I actually take that back. I do play a mobile game. It's one of those, as Des Raven used to say, a gacha game where you have to pay to win. It's called Kingdom Guard. It's kind of that reskin of Clash of Clans, but it's kind of a little thing. There's a group of people that I've been playing with now for over, almost 2 years now. Maybe a little over a year. Maybe not that long. But I've been playing that a little bit. That's on my free time when I'm sitting on the couch.
Okay. Very nice, man. Very nice. Well, since you have parted ways with podcasting for a little bit, what have you been doing, when you've had a little break from doing the weekly podcast show? It's just, I guess my question is, has life changed a bit since, not having to podcast every week?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily changed. It's still as hectic as it always has been, just one less asset or aspect of my life.
Yeah.
But I've been spending more time when I get home relaxing, not worrying about getting on. Am I catching up with gaming? Am I doing a podcast?
Yeah.
I pretty much just fly by the seat of my pants now. I've been watching a lot of Suits recently, and I think I'm on season 7 from my binging.
Oh yes, what a show!
But I've been trying to take the time to catch up on shows and movies, and just it's relaxing, and I just do whatever when I get home, and there's no rushing around. But hopefully with this new job, I'm out on time, it seems, more often than staying late, except for Sunday, which I'm adding Sundays working now, once every other Sunday currently. Hope it'll go to once every third, but that's very different.
Well, for people who don't know who you are, and if you don't, then where the hell you been? This man has been podcasting for decades and decades with not only the Guardian Hub, but well before that as well. Tell people what you do, man. What do you do in life? What do you do to make a living and all that good stuff?
Oh, me, I'm in car sales. I'm a sales manager. Been in the business since, I've been in the business since 2005 and been managing for a little over 10 years now. And that's my life. I mean, I found time when I first got into managing. It's kind of about the time Kingsley and I started the podcast, roughly. So I had a lot of free time. But as the years went by, I've more and more responsibilities in managing, it seems, and switching positions a few times during that during the podcasting career has put a strain on things, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Kingsley moving around dates multiple times.
Yeah.
It was fine moving
But
around.
yeah,
dates.
that's me. Yeah, moving around our recording dates.
Man, I can't imagine. I just bought a camper this last weekend, and it brought back so many memories of dealerships and what these guys have to go through and all the formalities and stuff.
Subaru hat. That's when we bought my
Yeah.
wife's car.
That's right.
Subaru.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful red. What'd you get? The which Subaru
Yeah, the
model?
wife has a really beautiful red model. Still just a Crosstrek. We love the
Crosstrek.
Crosstrek.
That's right, Crosstrek. Nice. Yeah. So, yeah, we've been messing with the camper life. You would think for camping, but no, it's for another reason. Something more personal, family oriented. But
Wait, Breaking Bad? You're making,
no, I'm not making
Oh.
meth. I know this is Florida, but no, we're not making meth. It's not a meth lab.
Well, that was Arizona. Or New
That
Mexico.
was a good guess though. No. One of our family members is between homes right now, and we're trying to help them out. And yeah, that's as far as I'll go with that.
Making
But
meth?
no, we thought about it. Be a good little opportunity on the side. No, I'm just kidding. It would never be up. We'd blow something up. The camper'd be in flames in no time. That's for sure.
Right.
Hey,
Um,
you got to cause a little chaos to make room for all the big wins afterwards, right?
I'm telling you, man. Geez, what a great show. That brings back good memories. That was a great show to watch. All right, Sin, what have you been up to, man? So what have you been up to this week, man, in gaming and life?
This week, let's see. Do we count this week starting Sunday? Then
Yeah.
nothing. I work.
Go back as far as you
But
want.
that's about-
I mean, have
I
you
don't know.
have
It's,
you played any? Have you been have you caught up with Destiny, or are you just kind of taking a break from Destiny now? Or
So last week we played the first week of the season drop, or the act drop, I should say, and that was actually fun. I actually enjoyed the little 10-minute activity. I know you hate timers, Todd.
any timers?
Well, it's not a timer. It's just you can only play for that long, but you don't
Right.
fail if you don't get it
Still a
done
timer.
like other missions. Yeah,
I get it.
you can keep running it over and over.
Yeah, but I did play that and I enjoyed it. And I played a little bit of that. And this week, nothing. I usually would get on like a Wednesday or a Saturday and kind of catch up. This week, I've been taking it easy. I have plans of going out with a buddy on Saturday, actually, and getting a couple drinks on, some long overdue drinks. So
Getting crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
Suits.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Suits.
What do you? Well, sorry, you're on season
New
7.
one, or
You said season 7.
Yeah, season 7.
That's a great show.
Season 7. This is the if you've watched it all, it's the one where Jessica Pearson is getting her name off the building, or getting her name off the wall. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
as far out as I am now.
Now, have you dabbled with any of the new Suits LA?
LA, I've seen it pop up on Peacock, but I have not gone down that rabbit hole. I've been wanting to finish the first one. I wanted to get done original OG Suits completely before I move on,
Yeah, it's a good move.
because otherwise I won't go back.
I'll be honest. It's not the same. It's not the same. I'm not trying to bum you out, but it's taken a lot longer for the story and the character development to begin. Just the way they started Suits LA is so awkward, but you'll actually see one of the old Suits main characters in it soon. I think I'm on.
I've seen Harvey
Yeah,
pop up on
Harvey's
one of
back.
the.
It's a flashback.
It's
Yeah,
it's
a flashback.
honestly kind of hard to have a spin-off of a
is.
really good series like that, where you fell in love with Mike Ross, Harvey Specter, and all the other characters.
Yes.
Oh, and of course the Ginger.
Oh my dude.
Can't forget
just-
Donna.
just how that story starts with this intern lawyer who really faked it and never really went to law school, meeting this hotshot that just loves this guy, and then that relationship forms from there. And it's just it's such a perfect start to a series that Suits LA just has missed the boat. It's just totally missed it. So it's all about having to watch it enough where you know where the characters are, and there's no backstory on anybody. It's just, you're just going in blind. It's just not the same. So enjoy Suits right now. You're going to love, I think there's one more season, right? Season 8, or is there 10 seasons? It's all right.
Know.
I know there's a lot.
Don't spoil it, because I'm just going until it ends.
I'm not gonna. It's a great show. I almost thought about watching it again. It was that good. There's not many shows that I'll do that on. So, all right. Well, good deal, man. I'm anything else you want to mention that you've been up to?
I mean, we had
That's it.
birthday bash for Sin a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you really?
That was a couple weeks ago.
I mean, it's a big event. I mean, we don't have to mention specifics if you don't want to mention your age, but
I don't care at this point. It
was turning 40, so momental time in life. And we had a big kind of our crew that would get together on Saturday nights, like our preferred rating crew and people that we like to hang out with and stuff. And we haven't done really any Destiny, of course, for a long time. But I'm like, hey, let's get together. What did we do? Just some Jackbox games. I sent Sin DoorDash of some stuff from 7-Eleven. I was trying to send him some Salsa Verde Doritos.
This guy in DoorDash, Sin.
So, yeah, but no, I mean, I thought that was cool. My wife turns. Yep, that's.
Whoa.
How were those?
I haven't opened yet. I haven't opened these ones yet. No.
Oh my goodness.
That's how very little I'm down in my office.
Oh wow. And
it'll last you the rest of the year.
Wow. Well, it's good to have you back, man. I can't wait. I know you got a really important topic that's affecting your industry right now, in fact, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But just good to have you back, man. It's just good to hear, good to talk and just BS for a little bit here before we get into it.
Heck yeah.
It's definitely good to be back. This was always fun.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Mike, what's your week been up to, man? What have you been doing?
Well, yeah, it is good kind of all talking. I mean, we've done the podcasting enough that, we all have different levels of what we care about doing, but the point I'm making is we're chill. We've done this enough. That's like, you know what I mean? When a new person comes on the show, sometimes they'll be nervous. We're like, you don't need to be nervous. It's not a big deal. But now it's like, for us, it's like second hat, third hat, like we've been doing this a million times. So it's like, just talking with friends, really. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And people want to listen to us. I don't know why, but no, we have fun things to talk about. I mean, I've been busy this week busier than normal with shows and games. Show-wise, all caught up on White Lotus. Really love that show. Season 3 started off like really intriguing and slower, but it is kicking up big time. Crazy things happening. Good show as always. My wife started watching. I haven't seen this yet, and I had it on my list. I know it's a great show because everyone was talking about it. She binged the whole thing, and she says she'll rewatch it with me. Guess what show? Severance. Season 2 also.
It's so weird, man. That show is so weird. It just gets weirder every freaking episode. Yeah,
I like weird shows.
You'll like this. It's very out there.
Yeah.
It's very out there.
But I was really kind of surprised and impressed that she started that on her own accord. I thought I was going to have to talk her into that show or whatever, but I was doing some other things, and then she just decided to start it on her own. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll catch up with you, or maybe she said she'll watch it again. So I'm looking forward to that. And gaming, lots of stuff going on. I finished Avowed just in time for some other things, which I'll mention here in a second. Excellent game. I probably have I know I keep the game on sometimes, so it's hard to say. So the game said I had 84 hours in it, but I really didn't have that much. But I would say somewhere between 60 to 80 active, probably. Just so much fun in that game just over the last few weeks of just so much to do in it. Really great game. So I still highly recommend that. Destiny stuff's great. We'll talk about that a little bit. Or maybe, do we talk about what we did?
Yeah, you can talk about it now. You can talk about this week.
Real
sure.
Quick before I get to Destiny, Assassin's Creed Shadow came out last night, midnight Eastern.
Oh, I got an email about that. Did you play?
Oh yeah, I've played some. I mean, I've watched and read all the reviews. So far, it's getting good enough reviews. It's about averaging 82 for critic reviews, which isn't horrible. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima got like 81 ultimately. So, and everyone liked that game. So you can't always like totally go off of critics' reviews. Um, but 82 isn't bad by any means. It's so funny. It's like people are getting a little spoiled. They're like, well, if it's not an 86 to a 90, then it's not a great game. I'm like, come on, people. 8 out of 10 is still really, really good.
It's really good.
Again, we're not going grade scoring here. We're going out actually 1 of 10. So, in my opinion, even 7 would be okay. It's not until you get to like 6 or 5 that it's not good, right?
Right.
But it is good if you like Assassin's Creed games at all. All modern, very. It has the feel of the old games, but
Mhm.
movement seems even just more fluid, less sluggish than even previous games. I've only put about an hour in it so far, but right away the story was really intriguing, brought you in, kind of emotional, and just the play is really fun. So I know I'll enjoy the game so far.
Good deal, man.
Nice.
Great game.
Yep.
Destiny. I did do week 2 stuff. I said incorrectly last week that it looked like the story was only going to be 2 weeks for a couple of reasons why I predicted that. Usually, and I know this Act 2 is really weird, only being 3 weeks long, but we've never had, no matter how long these acts are, we've never had a story quest line that's lasted the whole time, right? They usually go anywhere from like 1 to 4 weeks at the end of just dead time, right?
Mhm.
Well, and plus last week we did 9 quest steps out of 18. So I'm like, okay, it only makes logical sense. We'll do the other 9 this week. Well, we only did about 7 steps, and there will be a very, very small part of next week for this story also. There's not much to say, and there's not really anything to spoil. There's not a cutscene this week, but actually, really great story still. Kind of some crazy things happening, and I really love what they did with where they brought us back in the moon to the Shrine of Oryx area. Are you familiar with that area where they have
Mhm.
that one strike in Destiny 1?
Right.
But it's kind of like that big round ball in that circular room
Yeah.
and
I
stuff.
remember Shrine of Orcs. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that area, the mission, they bring you back in that area, and it is really cool, really fun. They
Wow.
do a really good job of just amping it up, and different voice lines that are amazing, and more Oryx talking and things like that. So
No,
definitely
no.
check out the story.
Sorry to
Super
interrupt.
quick.
No omitted voice lines.
Nope,
Okay, good.
not
That
that I
was
could
really
tell.
that's
So,
really bugging me last time. Good
You
well,
know,
deal.
that
they
was
could have hired
last
me.
week. That was
I had
Act
plenty of
1.
time.
Yeah. A-
You
Act
do.
2 hasn't had any issues like that, and that was only the end of Act 1. It wasn't even a cutscene. It was that live. It was that live scene where they were talking. But
Right.
so far, as we know, we all mentioned how that cutscene from week 1 last week was amazing.
It's great.
And cutscenes will always be perfect because they're pre-produced, so they're not going to be missing voice lines. And then in this mission, it's good too. I think the only people missing voice wasn't it only
It was. It was.
was it
It was.
Sabathun?
It was.
Who was the one missing the
It
lines? Was it
was
Sabathun?
the third sister. That's the one that was
Oh, it
muted.
was Ziva Wrath.
Ziva Wrath.
Well, then that was even just partial missing because Ziva Wrath definitely was talking in the
Oh,
cutscene.
good.
And
Yeah.
last week you saw that, right? Ziva Wrath talked in the
I
cutscene,
don't. I thought
the
that
actual
was
cinematic cutscene.
in the cinematic.
And
Yes,
then,
not in the before
yep.
the cinematic. Yeah.
And then, this week it didn't seem like there was any missing cut lines, voice lines. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyways,
Good to know.
it's fun. There's not tons to do, but yeah, Mohafo's both places.
Yeah.
In YouTube
Yeah.
and Discord.
He said he thinks it's either he thinks either Zivu or Sloan. Every now and
They
then.
must have. It's just certain things then, because I've heard Zivu and Sloan talk since. And in fact, Sloan was for sure talking
Yeah, he
in
said
this week's story.
he said it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Anyways,
was great. It was great. It was a great cutscene.
don't worry about it, people.
One of the
It's
top
fun. It's
cutscenes
quick.
this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's but week 2 didn't have another cutscene, but it had a cool story. So do it, because it's always, in my opinion, worth staying up to date on the story for multiple reasons. Because exciting things can happen, but also if there's some kind of quest line you want to do, you want to get it out of the way so you can get other collectibles and weapons. Sometimes you can't get certain things until you unlock certain story aspects. And also, sometimes if they have like go and do this side quest, it can actually be harder to do later on because not as many people are doing it, or there's some bug that comes up, or people are griefing because it's not a normal area you would go anymore. So I always think it's worth doing PvE stuff right away, even if you don't prioritize that, because it's almost like it's just important to get it done right away. You know what I mean? It's like it definitely is the premier part of Destiny. Whether you like PvP or not, Destiny's number one goal is PvE. You know.
Yeah.
I think everyone can agree with that. But
I mean, definitely want to keep up
yeah.
with the story when the story's good, and it's definitely good.
Yeah.
It's cooking right now. Really is.
Oh yeah, JD can't. Okay, so yeah, without spoiling anything, Oryx goes crazy this week. He gets intense, intense. That alone is worth checking it out.
Yeah.
Like, it not just the normal like you will bow to me. Like, no, he goes like 20 levels crazier than that. He's like yelling and almost crying and screaming, and it's crazy.
I can't wait to
So,
play it. I'm gonna play it before.
yeah.
I'm gonna play it before Saturday's raid. So, yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to catching that up.
Log
So,
in right now. Let's do it live.
fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
I think I got a screen share somewhere. I got a monitor open somewhere here. No.
That's all for me.
That's all for you? Okay. All right. Well, I'll make it brief. Of course, my Florida Gators won men's basketball, college basketball SEC championship. I'm representing them tonight. I watched the end of the game. It was really good. Tennessee didn't have a chance. They were just overwhelmed, which I always love seeing the Vols struggle. Sorry, Tennessee fans. Actually, I have a lot of Tennessee friends. But yeah, I was really happy about that. I really hope they'd go all the way. That'll be really good. They have a really deep bench, so it's possible. It's possible we can do it. I have 2 movie reviews this week. One from the theater using my AMC Stubs A-list membership, and the other one I saw on Netflix this week. The first, I saw the latest Steven Soderbergh film called Black Bag. 96% certified fresh from critics, 71% from audience, which I'm surprised a little bit with the audience score. I think it should be a lot higher. It's a spy thriller on it's a spy thriller in a very neat package. If you remember, my last Steven Soderbergh film I reviewed was called The Presence, about the house that was haunted from within. It turned out really, really good. You'll know that this director kind of gets right to the meat of the film. He doesn't add filler like some other movies out there. It stars Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett, who play the married spy couple who are both in the game. And I'll be honest here, this film is very busy and it's very dialogue heavy and not a crazy amount of action. So there's no grand explosions. Well, wait a minute. There is one. No spoiler there. But the overall film is so well written and flows so well that the dialogue is so well put together. As with a lot of spy movies, and you get that feeling of who can you trust. It can get a bit busy kind of by the, in the middle of the movie, but by the end, it kind of justifies it all. It brings it all back together very well. And if you like well-written and kind of smart movies that kind of make you think afterwards, then this movie is for you. I give it 4 stars. Very solid movie. Probably one of my favorites so far this year. The second movie I watched was The Electric State, which just released on Netflix. It stars Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt as the main heroes and Stanley Tucci as the villain. The best way I can describe this movie, it's a Ready Player One married the creator. You remember that show? The creator of that movie from 2023? Just Google it if you don't know. It's about robots and how they have to live with man and how they get persecuted and stuff. It's very much that same kind of thing, but it has that Ready Player One vibe to it, which was really good. It starts out with an alternate past of the 90s where robots were created to help us humans, and the robots turned on us. And so it created this human versus robot war where the humans won. It's not a spoiler. With a little help from a single human, no spoilers. But it starts with the adventures of Millie and Chris, where they must go to the original source to disrupt the new reality where everyone wears headsets like Ready Player One and lives their lives kind of in an alternative reality. Overall, I thought the special effects and realism of the robots, they were on point. And it was very believable. I mean, like many big productions, the story was super predictable. And I pretty much just enjoyed the high production. They spent $300 million on this set, by the way. And I just let the movie play out because there was no mystery. I knew how it was all going to end. And, about halfway through the point of the film, but it was entertaining. It was good to watch. If you're sitting on your phone and you just want to kind of watch something in the background while scrolling in Discord, it's okay. I give this one 3 stars. It clearly the critics agreed because they didn't. I think they gave it a fifth. They gave it a 15% critics, 15%, and 73 audience on Rotten Tomatoes like this film. So I think that kind of makes my point. Some shows that have just come out this week that are on my radar. The Parenting is on Max. Wheel of Time, the new season just came out. I think there's 3 episodes out now on, I think it's Prime Video. Adolescence is a movie on Netflix. I think it's number 1 on Netflix right now, and that's on my list to watch. There's another one on Netflix called The Residents, and I'm revisiting The Agency on Paramount Plus since I just saw Michael Fassbender's latest movie, and I'm also going to jump back into Slow Horses on Apple TV. Kind of gave that one a break, but I'm going to get back into it. Gaming wise, I did play some comp and some late night trials with my buddy Warcry Monday night, and Trials is a different animal when you're playing with another person versus solo. Some of you might have seen I just put a solo going to the lighthouse solo and Trials video on my channel this week. It was nothing like that. I hate to say this, but I still believe you have a better chance of going to the lighthouse solo versus a team. I'm just saying, just from my experience that night, it was definitely a totally different game. And we weren't even in the winning pool. We were just starting our card. So I did finish the Act 2 Week 1 story, and like I said, the cutscene was very good. Some of the best cinematics in the game right now, in my opinion. I have not played Week 2 yet. I'm going to play it before we get into the raid on Saturday. But I had a lot of family stuff I've been taking care of, and man, work is bonkers right now. I've had so many people that need service. So some good news though, my semi-pro bowling league, our team won first place for our third quarter. This is out of 40 teams, and I'm so proud I was a part of that. Even though my hip was bugging me and I've had hip pain and stuff, I managed to string together some really good series the last few weeks. It's thousands of dollars a man for this first place. So it doesn't happen very often. I was just very, very proud of my team, and we all did a great job. I did want to mention one thing on a low note. Our community member and longtime supporter of our show, young man you guys probably know as Frostbite, he lost his mom this week, and I just wanted to give our condolences out to him. I know he's hurting right now. He's in his 20s, like a lot of my son and daughter is right now, and it's got to be tough to lose your parents, lose your mom especially. So, Frostbite, if you're listening, we're all thinking of you, buddy. So, not to end on a low point, but I do want to make sure I did mention that tonight because he did reach out and was just messaging me how he was so appreciative that we had a community where people could talk and get together and have fun. And he mentioned that he had so many great memories of doing activities in our Discord, and just want to give him a shout out. So I know you're hurting, buddy, but hang in there, bud. All right, let's get into our topics. We'll be right back. Whew, almost broke there.
Hey,
you have like a one-click on and off.
I'm recording on hardware and software. I'm recording a digital record in OBS, a video record, and I'm also recording an audio on my hardware on my Rodecaster Pro. So I just have shortcuts and I just hit both buttons at the same time. Do you have a question, Kingley?
No, just a comment. This is really interesting. This is a rare sight. I mean, generally the trends are still, but not as much, but the trends are still going down just a titch week by week for this new episode. But for the weekend, we had more people playing this weekend than the weekend before. Usually it goes down a little bit, and it still is, but not for the weekend. So so the weekend before this last, the high was 42,000, but this last weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the high was 52,000.
Well, I wonder if that had to do with Trials, but here's the thing. Trials is
Trials not 2 weekends ago.
Where'd Sin go? Trials is
I'm still here.
Why did you
not to get you banned on YouTube?
Oh, okay.
I'll
Trials.
go back in a second.
I'm thinking Trials was don't worry guys, the windows will go back to normal in a sec. The Trials was only a rocket launcher this weekend. So I don't know if it's Trials. Maybe people are jumping in and playing the story more. Maybe that's what's going on. Hard to say.
I know it doesn't mean people are necessarily playing Trials, but still, if you just compare the weekends only, I was just looking Saturday and Sunday for the highs.
Right.
That's
good news,
had
though.
more of a high this last weekend than the weekend before, which is kind of interesting.
All right, we ready to get into it? Let's get into our topics. Kingsley, you're going to lead us off tonight, man. All right,
I am.
everybody,
Okay, sounds
everybody,
good.
we got it queued up. Everybody good to go?
Yep.
Here we go. 3, 2. Okay, let's start with our first topic of the night, and I'm going to turn over the talking stick to Mr. Kingsley Mack. You're going to start us out tonight. Kingsley, what do you got on your mind, man?
Yeah, this is a tech topic that is related to countries and Apple stuff. It's basically kind of technology and the UK not being happy with Apple. Anyways, if anyone hasn't heard about this, the UK kind of passed or made a rule recently where they want Apple to change an iPhone security feature. That basically what the security feature does is Apple adds encryption all the way along the line from your phone to the iCloud servers, that if you turn this on, things are fully encrypted and there's no way Apple can even get around it. In fact, if you turn this on, it gives you very scary warnings on your device. Be sure to print out an extra code in case you forget your password. Do this, do that. Have a secondary person like your spouse be a backup recovery a thing, because if you lose all your codes and all your passwords, Apple can't even get into your account because it's truly, truly encrypted. Of course, sometimes government doesn't like this. So basically, this article is talking about things. Privacy advocates worry that a change in an iPhone security feature in the United Kingdom and the ongoing battle between Apple and the UK could have worldwide ripple effects. Earlier this year, the UK demanded, under the Investigatory Powers Act, that Apple create a back door to allow the government to access this encrypted data on people's phones. But instead of making the back door, Apple burned the whole house down in the UK market, pulling the encryption capability at all to avoid having to comply. So the people in the UK don't actually have this. Instead of Apple finding a way to make a back door for the UK government, Apple just said, sorry, the users in the UK just can't have the encryption, so that they don't have to provide the back door. Apple said, as we've said many times before, we have never built a backdoor or master key to any of our products or services, and we never will. I think that's very important to realize. I mean, Apple's holding a hard line on this. So an estimated 35 million iPhone users in the UK do not have access to this optional end-to-end encryption feature called advanced data protection now. Of course, they made an appeal to the UK Investigatory Powers Tribunal seeking to overturn the order, and yada, yada, yada. But the bigger news is data and privacy experts, of course, are alarmed by this. This is only bad news, basically a quote from this guy named David Ruse, and I'm finding it difficult to call it anything other than a disaster. The loss of end-to-end encryption for cloud storage is wholesale bad. It leaves users with less secure and private. But the global consequences tip this into far worse territory. What's particularly galling is that for more than a decade, the EU has made a justifiable fuss about data transfer between our two nations. The thinking was that EU citizens could not be reasonably protected when it crosses into the US territory because of the National Security Agency surveillance programs, right? So trade agreements are intended to iron out the details, pointing to a safe harbor agreement before it was struck down in 2015, an agreement called the US-UK Privacy Shield, which has been in place since then. With the UK's order, he legitimately does not know what happens to the US-UK Privacy Shield. But really, this is a wake-up call, they said, for security experts around the world in government oversight. While the government wants access to the data, even if it's for all, up and up reasons, building such a backdoor would be a very high risk, because once a vulnerability is introduced, it's only a matter of time before unintended actors can exploit it. So basically, if the government has access to a backdoor, then that means hackers could also. It's not going to just stay with the government. Yeah. So cyber criminals, hostile nation states, malicious insiders, even if the government has best intentions, even if they do, other people that are bad actors could start using it in other ways. So, the big thing is people are now wondering, okay, well, what's going to happen in other countries? Will the US want this also? Will they try to adopt these laws? And it's something that I was really concerned about also because I could potentially see that happening. But luckily, right now, everyone seems to be in good graces with Apple. This isn't even a political issue. There's another article that came out that this is really good news to me, even though I'm kind of saddened by what's going over in the UK. There's an article saying that US lawmakers denounce UK's secretive attack against Apple encryption, and a bipartisan group of US lawmakers from across the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, are all on the same side for saying that they believe the UK government was wrong in this, and they're basically on Apple's side saying encryption is good. So I'm like, whew, okay, at least people in the US are not thinking we should have, you know, ways around this right now. Things could change down the road, but I'm just taking this more from a technology point of view. One of the reasons why I really like this article is they have this security expert and futurist by the name of L. Farrell Kingsley, my same last name, a UK-based futurist and tech expert. I'm like, oh, that's what I do. I'm a tech expert and a futurist. And she gives opinions on it too, and on how, you know, talking about actually how the US is kind of on the lines of agreeing that we should keep the security, and in the UK isn't. But she feels that the UK should do more what the US is doing with allowing users to have privacy on their devices. So what do you guys know about this? Did you know that your iPhone, you could turn on this thing called advanced data protection? And have you heard about this end-to-end encryption, and any thoughts on it otherwise?
Sin?
Nope. Never heard of it until
Well,
now.
I know that iPhones have always had end-to-end encryption whenever you message another iPhone, but I think it's different now with
For messages, this
Yes.
is way more than that.
Yes.
This is end-to-end encryption for your data, for everything and
Wow.
Everything.
I don't
Your
know
whole-
if I don't
your
know if I have it
whole phone.
activated or not. I'll have to check tonight.
Yeah.
It's in your settings, I'm
Messages
sure.
have been, I think, in for a while.
I would recommend checking this out, everyone, unless you're in the UK. But I think other countries have it too. If you go under settings and you go under your iCloud, and then you go to iCloud again, and just listen back to this if you're missing it. And at the very bottom, advanced data protection.
See if I have it on.
And that talks all about it. Of course, when you turn it on, it
Mine's
gives you
off.
scary warnings, like it gives you like a code to save, to print out. Because again, if you were to forget your Apple password and didn't have this code and didn't have a recovery contact, so there's 3 levels of defense. But if you don't do those 3 things and then you forget your password, you have no way. Apple has no way of getting your data back because it's truly encrypted. They don't have a back door.
Yeah.
So it protects you too good if you don't, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the good news about this too is no one in the government or hackers, or I mean, maybe someone will find a security hole and then Apple will patch it, but there's not even ways that people can get a warrant against you. The government can't even if they have a warrant, it won't be on your iCloud data. It'll only be on other things on your phone that you might unlock, or Google accounts or things like that. But this data is truly encrypted, which is kind of cool.
So everything that goes to the cloud will be encrypted. Is that what you're saying?
Through Apple.
Through Apple.
You're using Google, that's a different story,
Sure.
or Dropbox or Microsoft.
Google
things
tracks
like
everything.
that.
You kidding me? They track
All
everything.
your Apple stuff, so like your pictures, your
Right.
text messages to other iPhone users, which already was kind of happening.
Right.
If you have any files in documents or,
Right.
or desktop that you sync,
Notes,
and
anything.
contacts,
Yeah.
and phone call information, like who you're calling. Again, there are rules. Here's another little interesting thing, and I don't have anything to hide, but I still think having security is a good thing. Did you know that if you get pulled over with police, there is a law right now that they can force you, if they have good reason, they can force you to unlock your phone. But there is a way with a fingerprint. But if you get pulled over, and if you think, like, for some reason, turn off your phone on an iPhone, because what happens is when you turn it off and you turn it back on, it has that extra passcode, and they can't force you to do that. They can only, the law right now only says they can force you to do a fingerprint or a Face ID.
If your phone's on.
You to type it.
Right.
If your phone's on.
Yeah.
But if you turn off your phone,
Yeah, you have to do a password.
then when it gets turned back on, that code comes up, and they
Gotcha.
can't force you to do that.
Wow.
So that's just for your protection.
Good idea.
I'm not trying to get people to, like, do illegal stuff or
No,
hide stuff. I think
no.
privacy is kind of important.
Oh,
And if you care about
especially today.
privacy, these are good things to keep in mind.
I wonder if
And if you are doing something illegal, privacy is good.
Well,
Just kidding.
the
it
dark
is
net,
if you're
right?
doing something illegal, but even if you're not, I think
Yeah.
privacy.
Who knows? I mean, I know enough to get in trouble probably. I remember when I think it was someone who, I don't know if it was a terrorist or it happened years and years ago in the United States, and the police, nobody could crack his phone to find his
The
messages.
FBI case, I think. It was
Yeah, it
in
was
California
FBI.
or
That's
something.
right. Yep.
And that is true. I mean, yeah, that's why police have learned ways around iPhones, and they know certain things, like if they
Right.
can get to your phone before your phone gets turned off, then there are still ways that they can sometimes hack it. Or again, if they have good enough reason, they can force you to unlock your phone. But if you turn your phone off, generally you're protected, and there's
good to
no
know.
way they're going to get into your phone.
I'm going to have to read up more on that code, because Lord, knowing me with my ADHD, I know I'll forget it, and I'll forget where I put the
Well,
code.
do you have a safe? Do you have a safe or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I could do
print
that.
out the code.
That's a good idea.
You'll be fine if you ever forget your all it's
Right.
saying is, like, if you were to forget your iCloud password,
Yep.
and if you turn this feature on, your data's lost. But there's still ways to recover your account.
Right.
All they're saying is, like, if you can't recover your account, if you forgot your password, if you didn't have this code,
Right.
then all your data's gone, because there's no way they can backdoor it.
Question: if I have this activated, whenever I text someone on a Google phone, it's still encrypted?
No, not right
No.
now. However,
Right.
RCS, which is what's used between Apple and Android phones,
Right.
I hear RCS end-to-end encryption is coming soon between
Okay, good.
Apple and Android
Good to know.
devices.
Okay.
Yep.
And like I said, I don't have anything to hide either, but man, today, I mean, it's so amazing that Apple has stood its ground and still is protecting all our data. And that's probably one of the reasons why I still use Apple products today, even though I use PCs as far as my home stuff. But I wonder if Apple is a little selfish here, that they just want to use all that data for themselves for
No,
targeting
they don't use
ads.
the data. They don't do analytics on it.
They can't. They can. It's encrypted on both sides. Yeah.
No, Apple's never. That's Google. Google uses
Yes,
all the
we
data
know.
for analytics. Apple makes their money from their hardware and their services, and Google makes their money from analytics. So that's why Google reads all your data and stuff,
see.
but Apple doesn't.
I like I said, I know enough to get in trouble probably. And there's so many things to know technology wise these days. That's why I rely on you for the stuff. But I mean, that's interesting. And I wonder why this change in heart with the UK. Why would they change? Why would they do this now though?
I don't
You have
know. I would love to have
theories?
someone who lives in the UK and give their opinions, and,
Right.
and whether you're for or against it, and maybe what you think. I've heard, though, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't the UK always kind of been like a nanny state with, like, cameras everywhere more than the US and other countries?
Last time
and
I
stuff?
was in
Maybe
London.
it's just kind of a
Yeah.
it's just kind of a way that the government works over there, is they like to be able to get into whatever they want. I don't know.
Yeah, when I was in London, and I know there's cameras in DC and stuff too, but in London, CCTV is everywhere. It is everywhere. I don't think there's anywhere you can go that there's not a camera somewhere. I mean, maybe that's just their way of life over there. Maybe that's how they
know people that are listening to this
safe.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Whatever, but
that's
yeah.
that's
I thought it was a
you
fun
know,
tech interesting news piece.
That is.
So yeah.
Yeah, very
Turn
interesting.
that on, and you never know. You might as well turn on.
Are we all
advanced data prediction.
are we all iPhone users here?
Sin is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, you said that with confidence. Where you sitting behind me, Kingsley?
No, I just remember from in the past.
He sent it to you. He sent you a tracker when he sent your food to your house. He had a puck
many
in
of
there.
those private messages.
Slide into my DMs.
I have, the camera behind you. I can. It's in that little circle light right there.
Oh my
Thought
god!
I saw a little glare in that blue shirt back there on the wall.
The Mo says only.
Also says,
Yeah, if
Yeah,
it
go
only
ahead.
prevented a crime. Some folks just don't give a hoot. So
Yeah.
so basically, Mo, what you're saying is, I think you live in the UK, Mo, if I remember correctly. They basically, it's a trade-off. You know, if you want safety, you want public safety, you have to give up some of your privacy. And I mean, I think that's something we all have to think about as we get into the, everyone
It is.
knowing everything. Someone's always
I
keeping
get
an eye
it.
on us.
And the US has gone back and forth with that too, right? I mean, obviously after 9/11 with all the stuff with the airports and stuff, but I feel like on the technology side with personal devices, I feel like at least in the US, most people can kind of agree and feel, again, it's bipartisan right now. Hopefully it won't change in the future in the US, but I feel like most people can kind of agree like, let's keep our phones private. Let's at least keep that private. Maybe not. I could almost be okay with the idea of having cameras everywhere in public.
Yeah.
But getting into our phones, I don't like that idea.
I love that I'm gonna activate it, and I'm gonna put the code in my safe. I think it's a waterproof safe too, in case it's fireproof or all that good stuff, so it won't get messed up. I think it's a smart thing. I mean, if they're making it available, and they can't even do it, they can't even see the data.
Apple
I mean, that's
has no.
how do you
They
think?
could build a back door, but they are not going to build a
You
back
think
door.
do you think they'll ever will?
Haven't, they around it.
Do you don't think they ever
so
will?
they couldn't comply with the UK law to make a back door.
So they just removed
said,
it.
Sorry, you guys just don't have that feature then.
Yeah, we'll just take the feature away. Yeah, it was very ballsy, man. Very ballsy. I'm curious how the other countries follow suit, like the article stated. Yeah, but as far as the U.S., you said that's a bipartisan.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah,
so seems to be on the side with it. Well, maybe not everyone, but enough people that right now I'm not scared that the U.S. will say create a backdoor for Apple. Apple's smart. Businesses do this. Apple has been in the good graces of no matter who the president or Congress is and stuff. Like, I think businesses are smart that way sometimes, but it's more for their base country, if anything else, right?
Yeah.
So Apple's going to prioritize the U.S. over other countries, of course. So
and just to be fair here, Apple only has a very small percentage of all the cell phones in the UK. I think it's well over. I've looked at my stats and my podcasting stats, and Apple podcast hardly shows anything over there. I mean, it shows some, of course, but main thing is Google based products that most of the UK listens to.
It's hard to have that conclusion because a lot of people that use iPhones will still use Overcast or Spotify.
I'm using an assumption, and that makes an ass out of you and me. I get it.
No, okay.
I get it. I am assuming. I'm assuming way too much there.
Podcast app, and I have an iPhone. But
I'm thinking about switching too because I've heard so much about what'd you say it was? Overcast? I've heard so many good things about it. Has so many good features on it because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and it's nice to be able to index stuff much easier than just saying, hey, save this one. Save it to where? Oh, it'll just save. No, I like having I
also like
the granularity.
The smart speed. Like a lot of podcast players will have the 1x, 2x, all that, but Overcast has something called smart speed, which you don't even have to worry about 1x, 2x, whatever. What it does is it automatically takes pauses out of a show. Like it goes ahead of time and runs analytics. And let's say, you edit your shows really tight, but still like any podcast can have little breaks where no one's talking.
Sure.
Well, it'll just cut that out. So when you're listening,
saves time.
You're saving time because it's cutting out all these little breaks, and it'll tell you like over time how much time you've saved. I've saved like hours and hours and days
I bet.
over the life of using Overcast.
So adds up.
Having that feature on.
Yeah, so adds up every bit of time. That's for sure. Any other comments on this, Sin? Nope.
No, I like it.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for that info. That's good. It's a good article there, Kingsley. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. All right, we're moving on to Sin's topic right after this.
Oh,
I got to put a transition in there. It's about community. I want to put our community members in there. Hear their voices. All right. You geared up and ready?
Break.
You got your
here. No, go ahead. Sorry.
You got your fighting pants on. You ready?
Yeah, I want to keep it short and sweet because I don't even know where to go with this.
I know. I'm going to tread very carefully.
Right. You turned into a ghost, Sin.
He did.
I know, right?
Oh well, gotta do what you gotta do. All right, here we go. Countdown.
Yeah, can this screen go on dark mode? It's very bright.
What is up with the people don't have? Hey, I got the article too. It brightens up everything in here too. So
come on, dark mode. Where are you?
I'm really curious. I'm curious about this subject. So okay, here we go. Countdown. 3, 2. For our second topic of the night, it's Mr. Sin Media, and I just want to mention here a little disclaimer. Guardian Downcast does not endorse any political party. We're very apolitical, very neutral, and we're a gaming podcast. But this is a story that's really affecting Sin's livelihood right now. And when he mentioned the topic to me, I was like, well, he seemed very passionate about it. So I said, let's talk about it. So Sin, the floor is yours.
Oh boy, I'm excited for this. I'll actually keep the topic very, very brief, and I'll try to stay as non-political as possible. So, the hot topic in the car business right now is the impending doom and gloom of the tariffs coming. And really, what it's boiling down to is overall car pricing. And from what I've read, and I shared a couple articles to you all before proposing the topic, is coming down to car sales as well, and availability of cars. So what we've been doing as a dealership is, warning clients, now's the time to buy. Now's the time to buy. Incentives are still here. Discounts are still here. Pre-tariff prices. We don't know what's going to happen once these tariffs hit. And I know it's a big thing, not just in the automotive industry, but that's what I wanted to focus on. So reading a couple articles on it, what it's boiling down to is the tariffs are going to affect what they call a I'll make sure I got the right term for it. They're called USMC, I think it is, or US based products. USMCA compliant products is really where it's going to be affected the most. And what it's going to boil down to is car manufacturers may have to adjust manufacturing these cars in certain ways to be able to meet these guidelines to not be affected by the tariffs, from what I'm reading on it. What the experts are basically saying is if these tariffs, if this ripple effect happens, you could see car prices go up, inventories come down, and manufacturers come off of incentives to support car sales. Basically, like the rebates that you may see, $1,000, $1,500, $3,000, $4,000, depending on the manufacturer. It's going to tighten the supply. Manufacturers won't have a need to offer these incentives to clients to buy up the inventory, and you're going to see those prices skyrocket because of that. I recently bought a car myself about a month ago because the new dealership that I'm with does not offer demos. So now I'm driving around in a car. I kept it pretty modest. I got a Jetta. But if you are looking for a car, it would be a great time for anybody to go out there and buy. And I was curious on your all's thoughts. If you all, I know Kingsley, you just bought a car recently, obviously pre-issues that this may arise from the tariffs. I don't know, Todd, you mentioned you went and got a camper, so
Yeah.
you might be shielded. But
Yep.
What are your thoughts, kind of the long-term effects this may cause?
For me, we have fairly new vehicles. I have a Tundra that's not too old. My wife just bought a brand new Honda, not even a year old. So we just traded in her little Civic for an HRV, and we thought about moving up into the CRV or even the Pilot, but we really just don't need a car that big anymore. But yeah, maybe it's the weirdest thing, man. Sometimes timing is everything. Sometimes you'll dodge that bullet and not even know, just be lucky that you didn't see anything coming. And it was just when you bought stuff. And I can see camper prices skyrocketing too, because they use a ton of steel and aluminum in campers. I mean, they're almost all aluminum, especially the bodies now are full aluminum frames, and no more wood in these things. And it's a full steel frame this thing sits on. So that's a lot of steel and aluminum, since that's going to be the basis for a lot of these tariffs. But, I just don't, I just don't understand. I'm really walking a very thin line here. I'm trying to understand the logic of these tariffs. I'm trying to figure out the end game for all these tariffs with Canada and China and Mexico, and how the North American trade agreement has just been set aside here. We've made we've done so many good things with our brothers to the north and brothers to the south. I'm trying to figure out why this is being done, and I'm a little confused. So that's probably as far down the rabbit hole I'm going to go. But
I was going to say, if you want to keep it less political.
I'm
because you
trying.
can get really political on top
Yeah,
of that.
and I mean, I'm not endorsing either side of the aisle here, but I'm just trying as a
Yeah.
as a business person, I'm trying to understand the end game here on what this tariff is supposed to do for. I mean, I understand we're trying to bring manufacturing back to America. I just don't know if tariff is the way to go. I don't know if I think it's going to take time to put infrastructure in place, and I don't know if that's going to be enough to have companies get creative enough to develop this new companies and new infrastructure for aluminum manufacturing and steel plants and all that good stuff. So I don't know what to think about this, but all I do know is I know there's a lot of parts that are shipped from Canada and Mexico for Fords alone. And you're dealing with Volkswagens, right?
Manufacturers.
Yeah, you're dealing with
All
Volkswagen.
manufacturers.
It's spread across. I mean, here's the one thing I realized with COVID, and God, I said the C word, so I'm probably gonna have a COVID warning somewhere on my video, is how interconnected we all are in this world, how interdependent we are in this world. We all have to depend on each other. And if one cog in the wheel fails, it weakens everybody. So that's all I'm going to say on that. So I, as a business person outside looking in here, I'm just trying to figure out the end game here. And the fact that I've got new vehicles, I'm probably going to hang on to them for I hang on to my vehicles for about 10 years now. What we do is we get, the way my household works is we'll usually buy a new vehicle and the other one has to be 10 years old before we get another new personal vehicle. We always like having one payment at a time on a personal vehicle. But here's the thing. My business truck is a 2006. I just did the brakes and the AC's leaking. I mean, it's an old truck and I'm going to have to get a new truck here soon. And we're talking trucks right now, an F-250 or F-350, which is what I'm going to need, is going to be near $100,000 for a work truck. That I've never,
Prices
ever,
went up.
I never ever thought I'd ever say that. $100,000, I can buy a damn Corvette loaded for the same price as an F-350 Ford pickup with a few options, not the Mac Daddy, just a few options to make life a little easier, like electric windows and cruise control and maybe leather seats because you're in and out of the truck all the time. You don't want stuff to rip and tear. But I paid $53,000 for my F-250 in 2006, brand new. I'm still the original owner on it. And I cannot believe that I'm going to be paying double in that amount of time for a vehicle. I just can't even fathom it.
Yeah.
Kingsley?
Yeah. And I have a question too about your opinions on maybe if certain brands will be affected more than others. I did a little bit of research here, but it's really hard to know. But also, yeah, I mean, based on what you were just saying, I think it's always better taking the carrot versus the stick approach on things, right? For example, the carrot approach, Apple is building a new manufacturing plant, so they're not going to have as much in Taiwan. Apple does have a goal to bring more manufacturing to the US, but it takes time. You can't just have tariffs and say it's going to happen tomorrow. But they're doing more the carrot approach where the US government is giving them incentives and Apple wants to bring manufacturing to the US. So that's a good approach, the carrot approach more than the stick approach. But I was curious, it'll be really interesting to see how much this affects. I know it'll affect all car manufacturers, but certainly some more than others. I was reading that supposedly Ford won't be as affected as much, but like GM and Dodge and Chevy will, because 1/3 of all their car parts come from either Mexico or Canada. A lot of the Asian brands will too. But then I remember when we were buying the car at Subaru recently, they were claiming that Subaru wasn't going to be as affected as some other brands. Hard to say. I mean, I know Subaru, being Japanese, the Crosstrek one, at least it is, they pretty much do most of it there. And then I know the Outbacks are made actually in the US. I don't know how many subparts they get from Canada or Mexico. That's really the big part, is the subparts from Canada and Mexico, because that's where and China, but that's where the tariffs are mostly at right now. And it could be a good time to buy. I mean, I think I'll still have a little more time. My wife got a car recently, and we're usually on kind of like a 6 month to a year plan, separate from each other. I could see because of that, I'm kind of have like a tentative plan to get a 2025 Crosstrek this fall when the 2026s come out, and try to swap one up before they all go out of inventory, or even get maybe a 2026. Who knows? And hopefully prices won't go up that much by then. But it's really kind of a waiting game to see. Do you think, Sin, maybe some dealerships could be affected more than others, or manufacturers? I
Well,
mean,
the base thing, what Todd was saying, is the steel, right? And then the other USMAC or whatever the terminology they use, compliant vehicles, is the production location of the parts. Most window stickers now have a part breakdown, like a percentage of your parts of where they're sourced from.
okay,
One of the articles that I posed to you all prior to bringing this up, it basically says it isn't just U.S. car brands like those
yeah,
made by Ford, General Motors, Jeep producer Stellantis that are affected. Honda, Toyota, Audi, and BMW are also among the foreign automakers. Our article also stated that about 45% of light vehicle sales, which are going to be your non-commercial vehicles, are going to be affected by it. So another article, a different article that I also posed to you, it basically says that you could see a decrease in daily production of 20,000 units.
hmm,
So just put it in perspective for me, when I was out of the car business, I came back towards the tail end of COVID inventory, where the inventory shortage because of part shortages, right?
yeah, hmm,
You're going to see that same kind of constriction or restriction on the inventory because manufacturers might hold back what's going to the dealer lots. And it's
yeah,
also by restricting that, will also save the manufacturer money by not being able to put incentives out there during a time where prices are also going to be rising. But it's hard to say because all that is definitely true. That's not only the metal, it's also the part sourcing, right? Because there's a lot of places that source their transmissions or engines out of country. And if you don't meet those US compliance regulations that they're saying, and who knows, this could all change in a month or two. We don't know. We're
yeah,
not going to see the effects until the inventory that we're seeing now, like Volkswagen wise, our productions are about 3 to 4 months out. We already have productions in place. So we probably won't see the full effect for probably about 2 to 3 months, because once the inventory is here at port, you don't have to worry about it. It's already on ground waiting to be distributed. These cars are already built. It's going to be that stuff that's in production that's going to be affected, stuff that's coming in the pipeline that'll be affected, and in turn cause that ripple to what we have in inventory now. I don't know. It really is hard to say.
I,
probably either way, 2026 models you think will go up a bit in price, just to account for everything, maybe. You know,
Well, I don't know truly about all like Subaru wise, but Volkswagen, if just looking over a couple year span, take the Atlas. I had clients come back over this past 12-month period looking to lease an Atlas because they leased one 3 years ago. Those prices and those money factors or lease rates or rent charge, whatever you want to call them, were much different. You had MSRPs that were $5,000 less then. So just in a couple year time, the Atlas itself went up $5,000 in MSRP alone. Money factors and rates continue to stay high. With the threat of what these could cause, it could only get worse. So it's definitely not bad to buy necessarily buy now, but you're just gambling at that point on what's going to happen in the market over the next 6 months to a year.
this
yeah,
reminds me, this reminds me of the pre-pandemic times in the auto industry. I remember I was looking for a Toyota Tundra in 2021. I went all over Orlando, and hell, I even went in West Lake County, Orange County. I went probably a 50-mile radius of the Central Florida area looking for a Tundra that I wanted. And because of the chip shortage back then, they were giving immense amounts for used car trade-ins. Do you think that'll happen again? Do you think used car prices will start shooting up?
Yeah, I mean it's like new car market and used car market correlation is going to stay, I would say, closely related. And the fact that if you see the new car prices jump, that's gonna raise those used car prices. And in turn, if you see a lack of inventory on new, you're gonna see those used car prices spike, right?
Right.
You know, you see it like, let's say if a new model year comes out and it's priced $5,000 more, it will inversely affect the pre-owned prices because the new ones are going to be so much more. It allows people to pay more for the used ones. It really is a tough thing to explain because it's not just the new car prices, but it also is the current market, right?
Right.
And what people are willing to pay. So for me, like I look at when I'm appraising a vehicle with my used car team, I look at MMR, what they're currently going for at auction, what they're currently selling for. And in order to acquire a vehicle, we need to acquire it correctly and be able to turn around and retail it without losing our rear end on it or try to make a little bit of a profit. And in a world that we still live in where people want top dollar for their vehicle, it's hard to acquire them and have thousands of dollars of any kind of profit in used cars really anymore. You're paying top dollar for these cars, whether it's from a consumer or on, at the auction. And there was a time during COVID, post COVID when the inventory shortages were hitting, MMR was not a guide, or what average auctions were not a guide, because people were paying thousands over what they should be going for, and in turn had to sell them inversely for a higher price because you could get them. People needed the car. You had nothing around
Supply
like
and
it.
demand.
People were supply and demand, and that's what basically raised the prices. And unfortunately, Toyota, I think, is restricting inventory still to dealers. And I think a lot of dealers still struggle to keep a lot of, key pieces of inventory in for the Toyota lineup.
I remember looking at a Ford pickup in Lake County. It was used. I mean, it was like a 3-year-old truck, and it had mileage. It had 50,000 miles on it, maybe. So it's half its life or half its useful trade-in life. And it was more than a new version of the truck. I've never, ever seen that in my lifetime. It's just
one
crazy.
time in Volkswagen, the Volkswagen Beetle, which production on those ended a few years back, so you can't buy them anymore.
Right.
We got one on trade-in during the high used car price time, and when we retailed it on the used car market, it was priced higher than the original MSRP of the car when it was sold brand new.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Yeah. That's unheard
One
of.
of the craziest ones. That's one of the craziest ones I've ever seen. And you had two things going for it: not being produced anymore, and inventory shortages.
I know if you special order a Corvette or a Camaro or something, you always paid like a $5,000, $10,000 premium for special ordering anything to the dealer, for them having even just messed with it. But I can't imagine.
I don't know if that's the case anymore.
It was back then.
One of my new managers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I remember hearing that back then, but maybe it has changed. Go ahead. You're talking about your managers.
Yeah. So one of my current managers, my GSM now, used to work at a GM store. He told me he actually ordered one because the GM pricing or your employee pricing, you get quite a bit of money off.
Yeah.
Of. He was showing me today because it was at another dealership, so he did not go through with buying it because he couldn't get employee pricing. MSRP on the Corvette, that Corvette he ordered, was over $100,000. And basically, by the time the GM incentives and your employee pricing came off, you could save $20,000 or $30,000
Yeah,
off
it's a lot.
it. The Corvette is a rare, like a kind of one of those specialty vehicles. I could not see paying $100,000 for a car. It's just
not anymore.
My mind.
I used to be a big car guy, and I've kind of quelled a little bit because prices are just. I mean, a Corvette is not an everyman's car anymore. Used to be. I have a '78 Ford Corvette that I've rebuilt and restored. It sits in my garage as we speak, collecting dust. And back then, Corvettes were an everyman's car. The astronauts would ride them and show how the everyman could have their own sports car in America. And ever since they've changed the Corvette, man, we're getting off topic. Ever since they changed the Corvette look more like a Ferrari and a mid-engine car, it's just lost its soul to me. I look at the new Vets now, and they don't even look like Corvettes anymore. Anyway, sorry, I can get down a rabbit hole there, but you guys never thought we'd be talking about this tonight, huh? We talk about Roundtable. It is different.
Oh, it was great.
Hopefully that stayed away from the political part.
Yeah,
Hopefully we kept it away from it.
I think we all are a little confused right now what's going on with the tariff stuff. So well, I don't care who you support in this country. I just like I said, as a businessman looking in, I'm just curious, what is the end game here? And even Dave Infamous said this, and we've said it earlier in the show. He goes, the problem with bringing manufacturing back here is it's going to take years for them to set up that. Exactly. And the states have to get incentives to bring companies in to build these billion-dollar facilities, and there's just no guarantees. I mean, Donald Trump could be president now, and who knows who's president in 3.5 years, You just never know. The tides could sway and things could totally change. You just never know, man. It's just, I just don't think there's enough incentive by throwing tariffs to our trade partners north and south of us to bring in more jobs in the United States in manufacturing. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do anymore. I don't know if bringing manufacturing back to the States is the right move these days, because so many countries just do it so much better and it's such a more efficiently. I don't know.
I mean, on that micro topic, you want to blend. I agree and I disagree. Like, you shouldn't have a goal that all manufacturing has to be here.
We don't want to rely on other countries.
At the same time, we should have more, but at the same time, we should be okay with other countries. So it's interesting subject. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a good subject you brought tonight, King. Sorry, Sin. Not that I don't confuse you guys. It's just I'm used to talking to both you guys.
Thank you, Sin.
Thank you, Sin, for your topic. That was good.
Pleasure.
That was definitely different. That we definitely brought in a topic that we don't normally talk about. But hey, I have my topic coming too. And before we do that, though, we need to check in with the latest news from Destiny and Bungie. So we're going to do that right after this.
Right after this.
Important message.
Right after this.
I was trying to
we messed you up.
Mick Sinsley. Yeah, I like it.
Mick Sinsley.
There we go. All right. I'm going to be very, very quick. In fact, Kingsley is going to time me, I'm sure. But I have only a few portions. I only have a few portions of the TWAB I need to go over here because a lot of it is repetitive, guys. I'm just gonna mention the stuff that we need to know about. And I still have a topic. I'm going to close out the show with mine. I'm pretty passionate about it as well. So, okay, here we go. 3, 2. All right, this week in Destiny for March 20th, 2025. And I will tell you this, guys, there's a lot of repetitive stuff in this week's TWAB. One thing I did want to mention is this next week coming up is the final week of Guardian Games. So if you haven't jumped in to get your weapons and cool rolls and everything, they said as the midpoint for Guardian Games, Titans have won 6 times, Hunters have won 3 times, and us poor Warlocks have not won a week yet. So, or a day yet, I should say. So anyway, no big deal there. The next thing I want to talk about is the PvP strike team has an update for us. Mainly the competitive focus. And I just want to read this out because this is really important. With our Trials rework still fresh off the presses, and I'm really enjoying the Trials rework, by the way, we're turning our attention to the competitive playlist with the goal of making it a better place to go for players who want to play close games and see how they measure up on the ranked ladder. Earlier in the week, we made a couple of changes to the matchmaking and point gains and losses to help smooth out some issues. And we have a few more changes coming next week, so we'll explain them in detail below. Slow capture collision variant. This is starting on reset. This is a new variant of collision, and it's going to be available in the small team quick play playlist. This is a new playlist. This variant has been built to address feedback about the collision game mode and competitive playlist, and we'd love for you to put it through its paces and provide additional feedback so we can refine it. So what they're doing is you're basically going to be play testers on this, and they'll probably integrate this into competitive is what I'm guessing, or at least have an option to have it. Zones take longer to capture and rotate immediately once they've been capped. Standing on the zone is the only way to gain progress toward the capture, and the first team to capture 7 areas wins. It's that quick. Really quick gameplay, I'm imagining. Ultimately, if this variant is preferred to the fast capture mode that is currently used, we can swap them out. All right, competitive rank. We need to talk about this. Points, gains, and losses. For points, gains, and losses, we've heard feedback that climbing the ladder can feel too slow. I don't know if you guys saw Astacross tried to solo comp. He wanted to go from a 0 to Ascendant. I watched it. He got barely, he got placed in gold 3 like a lot of us do. Some of us do. He was clawing out of gold. And finally, after all day, streaming it all day, he hit platinum and said, I'm done. It is comp. He says comp is just not worth it right now. I'm having more fun than Trials than definitely comp. And I play comp every Monday night with my buddy Warcry, and we've been hovering in gold 3, gold 2 for several weeks now. So it's really frustrating. So apparently they're addressing this. So what they're doing, as such, we have increased both the maximum amount you can earn from the performance bonus, as well as increased the granularity of rewards, so you can more likely earn bonus points. We have also increased the maximum amount that the contribution scaler can grant, so you can be more likely to earn point values of 110 or higher for wins where you perform well, while also losing less than 90 from losses where you perform well. That's good to hear. So they're increasing the granularity of the performance bonus portion of rank rewards. This will allow performance bonus to grant additional positive points more often, and increase the maximum amount of performance bonus you can grant from 10 to 20. Increase the maximum amount of contribution scalar from 50 to 60. Enough said there. Matchmaking. For matchmaking, we're consistently getting reports that this season, high skill players in the gold and silver ranks were playing against players that were several ranks above them. I can concur. This happens all the time. When we dove into these reports, we found issues where players who had previously been highly ranked and who had placed lower than expected after placement matches could erroneously be flagged by the newest iteration of Smurf protection, Jesus, which set their rank match for matchmaking purposes to a higher value. We have corrected the issue in the latest patch, but we will continue to keep an eye on it to verify players are correctly matched according to whenever possible. So that's all we need to say there. The skill delta modifier. I know we're getting very technical here. I'm almost done. In the latest patch, we'll be increasing the number of points that the skill delta modifier can grant you on wins and losses on a more exponential scale, and only in ways that positively affect players. For example, you no longer have your points reduced if you beat a team you were supposed to beat, but you will get bonus points if you beat a team you were expected to lose to. On the flip side, you will no longer lose more points for losing to a team you might have been favored against, but you will lose less points for losing to a team you were expected to lose to. This will help to offset some of the confusion around point gains and losses in close games, while the baseline win-loss amount will remain centered around 100. Following up the latest update plan for next week, the new maximum minimum point gains losses will be maximum win amount 190, minimum win amount 90, maximum loss amount 110, and the minimum loss amount is 10. We believe this change will help players who display above average performance at lower ranks to climb out of them more quickly. We'll see. They talk about this all the time, and I still am clawing my way out of gold. Solo versus fire team loss forgiveness. When we rolled this out last week, we quickly ran into a networking condition that caused the array we scanned for team sizes to sometimes return incorrect data. While we were determined that the issue was within the first couple of days, a hotfix was launched and to remediate the issue. Was partially successful, but did not resolve the full situation. So in the next patch, they're going to have more robust code fix in place that we believe will cut down the amount of failures. And once that has been verified, we will continue our plans to reduce the stratification utilized by fire team matchmaking and allow duos and trios to match each other in both competitive and trials. I experienced this in trials, but like I said, I'll wait and see. They have an ascendant zero competitive emblem, which 1/10 of 1% of us will ever earn. So moving on. Eververse marks, cloaks, and bonds. Oh my. Basically, there was glows on your class items where you could put a certain shader on, and sometimes it would turn the glow off. I'm just going to paraphrase here. They're basically going to give you another shader where you can do it on all of your class items that glow, so you're not seen in the Crucible as easily, or God forbid, Gambit. So yeah, the Stasis Drake Hunter ornament in most recent update, shipped a fix that would prevent Hunter hoods from appearing when using the Stasis Drake helmet ornament. As a general practice, we avoid clipping wherever able. However, this fix has some unintended consequences. We're going to roll back this change. There we go. Heart's Pledge Titan ornament. As a start of Heresy, we released a new ornament for Stoicism, the Titan exotic class item. We quickly realized that the item was not uniformly displaying across Guardian body types. So that's a UI problem. I don't think that's that important. They have a Grandmaster Nightfall catch-up node. You know when it's better than being a Conqueror? Being a Gilded Conqueror, specifically one more than whenever you currently have. Will Well, we've got some good news. The Grandmaster Nightfall catch-up node went live this past Tuesday. While Sunless Cell will be coming with Act 3, not last week, you'll now have access to the rest of the episode's Grandmaster Nightfalls and begin working towards your gilding of your title. So jump in and grab it.
I'm so excited for that, by the way. Sorry to
It
interrupt.
looked
This
fun.
won't count against your time.
No.
And I saw some people got into it early. I saw GSX Clyde running it. I'm so excited for the strike to be back.
Yeah, I love it. It was one of my
Changed
favorites.
it up some, but it's
Good.
the same look and feel.
I'm definitely looking forward to playing it in Act 3, that's for sure. All right, just a couple notes. What's coming up next week in Destiny? Trials this weekend with the current Heresy Arc meta surging. We've got the Heavy Burst Arc hand cannon coming. Yesterday's question. So that's what you'll be shooting for next weekend. Final week of Guardian Games next week. The story continues. Like you said, Kingsley, there's a little bit of story left we're going to need to finish up on. The Nightfall rotation next week, we've got PsyOps Battleground. Ugh. Battleground. Have fun, guys. Momentum Control returns next week. And that is it. Player support report.
One quick thing here.
Okay.
This one, because I know you like your kill trackers, we were having a whole discussion about this.
Yes.
Why you keep weapons.
Yes.
I couldn't even imagine that being a reason why people would want to keep weapons. But anyways, because then we were having a discussion like, why don't you get rid of exotics in your vault? Because you can just repull them easily. And he's like, because of the kill tracker. I'm like,
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, Lotus Eater Rocket Sidearm shows incorrect numbers in its kill tracker. That's an interesting known issue right now.
Oh, great. Great.
Other than that, other shit's broken too.
Yeah, shit's broken, guys. If you want to see any details, yeah, it's on the TWAB, this week's TWAB, if you want to look at that. So, all right, that is it. Final thing they say is that's everything we have this week. While the TWID was a bit lighter this week, make no mistake, there's a ton to do right now. Guardian Games competition, Rushdown, episode storyline, Court of Blades, GM catch-up node, and testing out a ton of new builds with the new balance updates and artifact perks. On top of that, Act 3 is right around the corner. Also, how dare you spy on us while we're writing the TWID? This is why very large bowls of very large bags of cat food exist. We've got it covered. It's a cat pic. So that's probably Cosmo. Anyway, thank you, Destiny 2 community team, for letting us know what's going on this week. And now we're going to get on to our final topic. I'll be closing out the show tonight. So we'll do that when we return.
Good job on keeping it 10 minutes.
See, I told you. Told you it was light. You know what happens every time we have, and I swear I can't plan for this. Every time we have a roundtable episode, they have a huge info dump, TWAB, and we're like, oh man, we got to talk about some of this because it's a Destiny podcast. But yeah.
And then 3 hours later,
JD Kent wants to know who's in the cell.
Well, they told us it's not going to be the same guy, but other than that, I'm not saying who.
Yeah, let's let it be a surprise.
Wait,
let's not spoil things.
So what strike did you say is coming back?
The Sunless Cell, the All Cool strike, but remember he got moved to the light blade version of him. Remember
you had to get the 3 swords in Destiny 1, Taken King? The exotic swords?
Gotcha.
Where you go down and where all the crypts are and where all the cells where orcs will put all his prisoners. And you keep going down and there's all the thrall that are running at you. You keep going down and it's like that big dark pit. You can't see him running around. Yeah. He's the guy with like the big axe that he would hit at you, but it was like really dark in that room. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Okay,
and I'm sure you'll remember it when you...
I'll remember when I see it.
It's not going to be Ala Cool anymore, but it's going to be another guy.
Yeah. That was my favorite strike.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
It looks pretty similar though, to be honest, but...
Good.
Yep.
All righty. Thanks, Mo. Take care of yourself, buddy. Thanks for stopping by tonight, man. Let me get a nice big drink.
I said we're having a side chat. I was saying
I saw that
BW has the highest smoking rate, but I meant to say WV for West Virginia.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying not to vape while on YouTube because I don't know how their terms are.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if you can vape or not, to be honest. Yeah, you can just black your screen out, man. That's fine. Whatever you want to do there. All right.
They're worried the kids will be tempted to.
I saw.
If they see you vaping.
Are you like putting a sheet over it? Are you like putting a sheet over the camera?
No.
Oh, you have a flip down.
So this camera It's a slide, so I can just slide it over.
Nice. That's good. I like it.
So yeah, it was actually one that I got from when I started working from home. I swapped out my original one that I had for this
Right.
because it has the slide on it. It's just easier to
Mine's
open
a
and close it.
mine's a flip down. It flips down, flips up.
Very nice.
Yep. Come on, baby. Come on back. There you go. All right, let's
yes.
Don't get
Where's
confused.
Florida in this list, by the
Don't
way?
get conf-
I want to see how many
What's that?
smokers there are in Florida.
Man,
Do you see what we have in the chat? West Virginia has the highest number of smokers in the U.S.
I'm not surprised. A lot of
Utah
coal
is the
miners.
lowest.
A lot of coal miners.
Actually, Florida's solidly kind of in the middle.
We're half and half. Depends where you live.
Actually, you're on the lower side. You're 11%.
We're a lot of health nuts in Florida. Yeah.
But Utah 6%, and then
That's
West
because of the
Virginia,
religion.
20%.
That's because of religion. Because I don't think the Mormons are allowed to smoke, are they?
Well,
they just
there's
drink
more.
soda, so it's the highest percentage
It's
of
not
soda
just
consumption.
that, because actually these days there might even be more Mormons in Idaho than Utah.
Oh, okay.
But Idaho is not as low. But I don't know. I mean, that's part of it, I'm sure.
Dave Infamous. Yeah. Hey, I'm in West Virginia. Nice.
Oh, damn right you
I like it. That's where Sid's from, by the way.
Who is Dave Infamous?
I have no clue. He sounds familiar to me. I don't know if he stopped by from just checking in on the YouTube channel, or he's in the Discord. Do you have a Discord name, Dave? Anyway,
let us know if we
let us know in the chat.
Welcome either way.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, exactly. Either way.
West by God, Virginia.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get into it. All right.
Yep. Let's roll.
Almost done. Here we go. 3, 2. All right. To wrap things up tonight, I had this topic on my mind as a random observation at first, but now there's been more proof than ever going into 2025. The movie industry has a problem. And as a theater movie watcher, I'm a little bit worried about the future of movie makers out there. And you guys know I'm the movie guy. Base Windu. Nice. Thank you, man. Yeah, he's a new member. He just joined. Damn ADHD. Red ball.
Squirrel.
I'm just going to start over. To wrap things up tonight, you guys know that I love movie watching and I report on movies whenever I can and give my amateur reviews of movies. And this topic came on it just been kind of percolating in my mind. And it was kind of a random observation at first, but now looking at a lot of the movies that have released in the end of 2024 and in 2025, the movie industry has a problem. And as a theater watcher, I'm a bit worried about the future of movie makers out there. And if the major studios continue to do what they're currently doing, TV programming and streaming platforms are going to take over a lot faster than I originally thought. Because we know eventually they're going to take over and movie theaters are going to go the way of the dodo, I'm sure. Or be like an ultra luxurious thing to go see a movie on a big screen. But the one trend that I see, and of course there are exceptions here, is that major studios are too afraid to invest in smaller movies and instead have opted to what I call the money grab. Most of you are probably picking up what I'm putting down here. These well-known brands that just never seem to die. When was the last time we've actually seen a good movie as an in-house big production or as a major production from a major studio? If you look at the recent blockbuster movies that have come out this year so far, or at the end of 2024, Captain America Brave New World, critics have it at 48%. Ant-Man Quantumania, and I know this was out last year, 46% critics. Or how about Madam Web, 11% critics. Or how about Kraven the Hunter, 15% critics. The list goes on. And of course, the real winner last year was Deadpool and Wolverine. They got a 78% certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes critics, which was the only superhero movie I actually watched with the missus last year. And I laughed my ass off, mainly because it wasn't an expected pre-planned corporate movie, but a movie that made fun of itself from the minds of good writing, including stars, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, which was a goof in how it was all put together from the start. Ryan was just driving one day and thought, hey, I'd like to make a movie with Hugh as Wolverine and bring back Deadpool one more time. And this original thinking that Didn't begin as an idea in a big boardroom somewhere, created a fantastic example of a studio that was backed by the stars themselves, taking less pay. I don't know if you knew this. They took less pay up front and looked more for long-term residuals instead, which to me was very smart. I mean, it broke records last year. It hit over $1 billion worldwide. So who's laughing now, you know? Just goes to show you how taking a little risk on an unusual superhero movie can really pay off, and how we as movie watchers are just craving original content. Oh, looks like we lost some cameras. They got moved around. Okay.
It's been like that since
I promise I didn't break it.
You must have jumped out
Maybe
and it just replaced you. Okay.
I tried. It was like that before I turned the camera off all the way, and then I tried to turn it off and back on. You know, the whole blow into the cartridge thing.
We'll just do an intermission real quick here, and we'll fix this. We'll fix it real quick. Sorry, guys.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Kingsley. The heck? Kingsley Cam. Okay. What the heck? Okay. Yeah. We'll get this fixed real quick.
Saying you have a buddy that looks
Jeez. There's just got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to do this. I mean, I have it set up where we can do stuff in the Discord, using the Discord, but I'll get it fixed. There we go. Done. Yes. Let's see if I might be able to fix this. Reset. Yeah. Let me reset transform here. Get this real quick.
maybe different software.
OBS is so powerful, man. It's just so good to use.
I thought you don't use OBS. I thought you use.
Oh, I use OBS for everything. Yeah, we got it here. There's a 3. Okay, get the screen. You might have a better picture now, Kingsley. I don't know. We'll see. Fit the screen. Boom.
About time.
Let's see. All right, here we go. All right. Studio mode. Here we go. All right, sorry about that, guys. Cameras are back. I had to do just a little fix there real quick. Yeah, we blame Sin. We blame Sin. All right, there we go.
It's always my fault if shit's broken.
All right, I'll get back to my topic here. Sorry.
Wait, do we want to wait till we can see it to confirm, or
No, I got a preview right here. We're good.
okay?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit higher, but I'm a little more
You're
left
still lower.
now. So
Yeah, I see that.
you win some, you lose some.
I was under duress, Your Honor. Okay. All right. As I will continue here, as I finished on talking about how, Deadpool Wolverine took a chance, and look how good it did, because it was such an original movie, right? The majority of studios these days are making the 8th Despicable Me, another boring Garfield movie, an animated Transformers, a regurgitated Disney classic like Snow White next week, or Moana 2, or Inside Out 2, or Kung Fu Panda 4. You guys get my point. If most movie watchers are not bringing their kids to movies these days, if anything, they pick and choose 1 or 2 visits per year is what I'm guessing. I remember standing in line at the concession stand one week and hearing a total bill for a family of 5 getting popcorn and drinks that was over $100. That is insane. And what average family can afford that for 2 hours of entertainment? I mean, it's just a rant, but you guys are getting my point. Man, I remember I wanted to watch The Brutalist in the Dolby Theater. There's only one Dolby Theater in our theater. And I saw that Moana 2 took that spot and kicked Brutalist to another lesser theater. Who the hell needs to watch a superior picture and sound theater made for realism and detail in a cartoon? Anyone? Okay, back to my point. There was this little independent studio that has been killing it in the movie theater over the last 3 years. I've been following them. I watch a lot of their movies. Quality movies like The Heretic, The Brutalist, which I just mentioned, which won an Oscar this year, Baby Girl, We Live in Time, On the Rocks, The Green Knight, remember that one? The Whale, Past Lives, Minari, Beau is Afraid, The Iron Claw, Tuesday, Everywhere, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ex Machina, The Zone of Interest, remember the one about the Nazis? That won an Oscar in 2024. It was one of my best movies of 2023. There are others coming in 2025, like there's a new one coming out in a few weeks called Warfare, The Materialist, and Famous. This movie studio is A24. Keep an eye on these guys in the future because they are going to be one of the few independent studios out there that understand what moviegoers want to watch. If the major players out there don't adapt and create movies like the ones I mentioned previously, then I'm afraid the art form of a well-written movie is just going to go away, or at least in theaters. And if you are an upcoming writer, just say I was an up-and-coming writer, created some really good screenplays, would you look to writing the next Hulk movie? Which, let's be honest, he wins in the end. Or be known for the movie gems that A24 produces. I think that's going to be an easy choice where all the good writers are going to be going if they want to express their creativity in movie making. I see most major productions these days as junk food. I really don't even want to waste my valuable time watching a movie that already gave away the entire movie in its overblown high production movie trailer. Sorry. Where I believe most of the creative talent has gone these days is something Sen mentioned earlier when we were talking about this topic. It's the streaming platforms. Netflix is not afraid to throw money and make movies that are a little out there. Same for the others. There are so many fantastic shows on TV these days that sometimes I don't even think about the movie theater. I really hope that's not the case in the future because if the big studios don't wake up, I don't know. I don't know if I can go see a Ghostbusters 7, a Frozen 4, or a Transformers 11, the search for the hiding Decepticon monster. You know what I'm saying? So that was my topic tonight, is the fact that movie studios, the major players out there, are so afraid to invest in new IPs. A24 is doing the opposite, and look how successful this little studio has become. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I biased here, or does this hit home with some of you guys? I know Kingsley, me and you can resonate on Heretic because it was such a well-written movie, but I'm just curious what you guys have to think about this.
I agree on the point that I prefer A24 movies more. However, I think the bigger point, unfortunately, I think movie theaters are going to go down either way, man. And it's not because people aren't going to go to the movie theaters for great A24 movies. Sorry. It's still more likely that they'll go for like a Deadpool 4 or something like that. So I actually think maybe A24 will start eventually making movies direct to Netflix or other things like that.
Okay with that.
So I agree, movies need to be better, but I think the movie theaters are in trouble either way, and it's not going to be the small groups that make people go to movies more.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a sucker for some of these. What were you calling them?
Transformers
Kingsley
11.
Fu Panda 4, Transformers 11,
What
Fast and the
got
Furious
you?
69.
These are just fictional titles, guys.
Right.
That was to prove
I'm
my
a sucker
point.
for some of them.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
And
but
we
a
should
lot of
call
them,
it Sin for.
right? Because one, you want the story to continue, right? And that's what these studios are playing on. They're playing on the nostalgia of the original, the cult following that the original might have to try to gain, a similar base for their next movie. There's very few movie franchises that have successfully done that. Probably one of the few, maybe Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, the Harry Potter series. They've probably been the most successful in my mind when it comes to dragging on a franchise. Moana 2 was okay. I know you mentioned that one. I've never seen any of these A24 films. I started looking through the list as you were going through them. Ex Machina is on here, but I don't remember seeing that, honestly. I can't remember if I saw that recently. And if I did see it a while ago, then man, it's been forever.
Do a comparison
And
here.
I don't know. I mean, some of these movies, you mentioned Heretic, Warfare, Baby Girl, Midsummer,
Mm-hmm.
Hereditary, Past Lives. Those are some of the newer ones. I've never seen any of them. But usually, if I'm going through the Netflix or any of the streaming platforms, if the little preview that doesn't stand out to me, I'm probably not going to spend the time watching it because I need to have something that's going to keep my focus with a little bit of time that I have. I don't want to watch something and then like 20 minutes later be like, screw this. I just wasted 20 minutes I can never get back. And sometimes I'll watch a movie after liking the trailer and still say it was hot garbage. I mean, there's a couple that I watched that were not great recently, but
you got kids. You got kids still, and they're counting on that brand recognition. And I'll give you a real life example here. The Heretic. How do you think how well do you think it did? Total box office, domestic and internationally together. Guesses? How many millions?
Nowhere care.
let's do 17 million.
No, they did quite well actually. They did almost $60 million worldwide, 27 million domestically, and actually did more internationally at 30.8. Now let's take Moana 2, which took my spot in the Dolby Theater. How much do you think they made worldwide? Moana 2.
Well, if Heretic
the
made
cartoon.
60, I would assume it would have made more than 60.
$1 billion. $1 billion. $1.05 billion. So I guess because that's what people are going to watch is these. I haven't watched Moana, so I can't judge Moana. I mean, but the Garfield movie. I mean, even if it grosses $500 million, I just shake my head because there's so many really good movies out there, like The Heretic, and Heretic was probably on the high end of most of the A24 movies because it actually gained popularity, and actually it's on one of the streaming platforms right now, so they were able to sell it after the fact. So not all the movies have that luxury, but it used to be you'd watch a movie and then it'd be out, I don't know, 3 months later on DVD, right, where you can buy it at Target and then bring it home, put it in your collection. Well, that just doesn't happen anymore. It's all about who's going to buy it from the streaming platforms. And if it's Tubi, good luck. If all you can get is, I don't know, $1 million for it on Tubi, no knock against Tubi. It's just not a known streaming platform out there. It's not as big as Paramount or Apple or NBC, Peacock or whatever. So I'm just saying it, when I see figures like that, I just shake my head because I understand the drive for money there is they're counting on dads and moms bringing the kids to see these cartoon movies. And it just, I guess I'm just the old curmudgeon.
And not just
I'm just the old curmudgeon now, I guess.
It sounds like he liked some of them too, like the Marvel movies and stuff.
Heck yeah.
I like Marvel movies.
I stopped going I like them. And
yeah,
honestly, the last few I've just waited for streaming. It's really
Disney Plus.
Time.
Yep.
I do prefer to stream them, and honestly, I would pay for them if I needed to watch them at home. And like Tahoe says in the chat, movie theaters just lost their appeal. And like you said, Todd, you go with 5 people.
It's ridiculous.
If you go to a well-known movie studio,
that's
like
nice.
AMC or what is Regal?
Regal's good. They got some
good. $15 to $20 a ticket alone.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Plus that.
Unless you have AMC Stubbs A List. Then it's only $20 a month.
I'm gonna
first
Dave,
you gotta keep paying it.
One ticket, one movie.
The chat probably knows this. We have a local movie theater, Berkeley Plaza, and it's like cash only. You can never use a credit card there, but shit there's cheap. You can get the popcorn's cheap, and the tickets themselves are cheap.
Right.
And it's just like a little rinky-dink movie theater. It's not that great, but that's my wife takes the kids there for everything, especially when it's like Moana 2 or whatever movie they want to watch next.
Right.
So that's helped save some money instead of having to go to the big box stores.
That's what my parents
Yeah.
used to do.
So
Yeah. Go ahead,
it's
Kinsley.
one reason why something like A-list would never be worth it to me is because the exact reason you say. I am the weird one. I still think more people go to the movie theaters to see these big movies, but I go to the movie theater to see the interesting movies. But there's not enough interesting movies to make that worth it. Because, like, if you do the math, and money's not a concern for me as
Yeah.
much, but you can get the nice screens, all the big screens you're talking about. If you time it right,
Right.
you can get those for like $8 a ticket. So you would have to see 3 a month at least to make it worth the A-list price.
Right.
And to me, there's not usually 3 movies a month that I really want to see. And I don't care about seeing the big ones because, like you said, I'm just getting bored
Yeah.
of all of them going over and over. So that's why for me, something like A-list would never be worth it. But I think it's multifaceted. Money is the biggest issue, and
Yeah.
people are going less in general. I do think, though, unfortunately, there's still more people. I mean, I love movies like you do, Todd, but I think probably more people are unfortunately going for the big ones than the
Yeah.
small ones. And then movie theaters are just going to slow down either way, not necessarily because of
Yeah.
what movies they're doing. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And maybe the fact that these movies are grossing so much proves their point. Why should we invest? I mean, there's been some independent theaters that invested a lot of money in movies and lost major money. And there's not many studios are going to stay in business that long doing it that way. But it just boggles my mind why we need to see another Frozen movie. Why do we need to see it? Is there something going on with Elsa that we haven't gotten in the other movies?
Everyone has different styles of what they like. It sounds like you like to think with movies more also.
Maybe
like
I'm
I
just more
do, but
sophisticated. I mean,
a lot of people.
yeah.
Well, I
I'm
wouldn't use the word
not bringing,
sophisticated
I mean it. No, I meant,
necessarily.
I'm not bringing kids.
Yeah.
So the movie has to
But
appeal to kids. Yeah.
But you're also right, because anyone who's a movie critic and watches lots of movies, and you do because of A-list and other reasons, if
Mhm.
you look at any person who reviews movies, they are over time more likely to be interested in interesting, more cerebral movies. Any movie critic will go
Right.
that way eventually. And so
Yeah.
it has to be a really, really good action movie. You know, it has to be the Marvel 26 that this one happened to be good, that it would get a good review by that movie critic, where all the other ones are just kind of boring because they're the same old, same old. So that's kind of normal. I think that just happens to people that watch movies a lot in the movie theater.
Maybe the shift has already happened, Kingsley, because if you think about it, Dave Infamous just mentioned Star Wars. He hadn't been to the theater to see a Star Wars movie in a long time. If you look at the new, and I can't talk about it enough, if you look at the new Andor season 2 that's coming out, there's so much hype around this show because it is a smart Star Wars series. It has character development, it has deep stories. It talks about the rebellion, a lot of key points and things that we never saw in the regular Star Wars movies. We're going behind the scenes now. We're going to, before it became Darth Vader, all the things that happened to build up to those big movies that we saw as a kid. And it is so great to see this right now. And like I said, maybe the shift has already happened where all of the good writers and all the good creative people have just said, listen, the big studios just can't guarantee us the money or anymore. So we're just going to try to make bank on this, on the,
Yeah.
you know, on the streaming platforms, because let's face it, they're bringing tons of money right now too. And at a much lower rate, much lower price. So it's sad,
I think,
but true.
unfortunately, movie theaters are in trouble either way. I know you don't want to
Yeah.
hear that, but
Well, you know, here's the thing, and
Okay.
and maybe my mind's changing a little bit too, because with millennials and Gen Z, I know especially, they don't even think about a movie theater. It's just us Gen Xers and boomers,
I've
and
seen a little bit. My
maybe,
daughter's been going with me time to time,
yeah,
but yeah,
it's
generally,
experience.
not
But
enough.
I mean, compare that to our childhood, right? Where the movies was
Mhm.
it. The movies was the place to go. And my
It's
parents were
streaming.
big. Thank God my parents were big movie buffs, because they brought me to see Jaws. Everybody saw all the, all 80s was a big year. I mean, all of the,
Like 100 years ago, right?
yeah, something like that. But
Back
we,
in my day.
we were raised where there was no streaming services available. There was no instant anything. Everything, you had to see it live at that time, whether it was TV or whether it was a movie theater. And I guess times are changing where maybe the big theaters or the big movie producers already see the writing on the wall, and maybe that's why they're sticking to the brand recognition stuff that they know has guaranteed money, where at least they're going to cover their initial investment. So
Yeah, not guaranteed every time, but at least more times.
less risk.
And they're trying to hold on to that as long as they
Yeah.
can, for as long as movie theaters are still around.
Yep.
And then I think also, like, forget, you were bringing a series into the discussion, but I think we got to be fair. We didn't talk about movies on streaming versus series, but
Right.
and I think the small studios, I guess they might as well go in the movie theaters too if it doesn't cost them that much money to do that. But like a lot of people aren't going to see the A24 good movies until they come out on streaming.
Yep.
So
if they're
I'm glad
purchased,
they are there, because if they weren't there,
Yep.
people would never watch them if they were only in the theaters.
That's true too. That's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I won't prolong this point. It was just a sad realization that I came to, that the movie theaters have just become, they're not a place. I guess they're just not a place. I mean, if you think about it, who's the major movie goer these days? It's probably Gen X, and we don't have kids anymore. Our kids have moved out. They're adults on their own now. And what do we want to see in a movie? Do you think we want to see a Moana 2? Do you think we want to see a Transformers movie? Maybe. I have friends of mine that love Transformers. Or did they want to see a movie about a band of soldiers in Afghanistan that are in a bedroom up in an upper building, and the whole movie is a single shot camera following them as this whole country comes crashing down on them, and how we try to protect them with jet planes and all kinds of bombs and all kinds of high-tech methods, which that's warfare. I've already seen the previews.
Well,
that's what warfare is all about.
I actually picked Transformers, but
Yeah, I would definitely.
I
pick
love gritty
Transformers
stuff
over
like that. You guys don't remember Black Hawk?
no, I'm just saying, yes,
Black
it was
Hawk
great.
Down.
Kingsley
but, like,
Food 4.
look,
Damn, what's it
I was
called?
just being funny, but just from those specific three choices, I would still pick Transformers.
What was it?
For sure.
Black Hawk Down. You guys saw that movie, right?
Down, yeah.
My God, that was.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be.
Just for me,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
No war movies. I typically
Really?
stay away from them. It's
Really?
Not.
I know.
it's not-
I kind of agree too. Like, I'll watch a war movie maybe eventually on streaming, but like
Yeah.
it's such an intense emotional thing that I
It
just
is very intense.
I really, it's rare to be in the mood. I kind of like don't want to be paying as much money for that, because it's not
Okay.
it's not like I'm opposed to it, but I'd rather, again, like the movies I'm going to pay for are generally the unique movies or a rare action movie if I think I'll like it.
Right.
I'm kind of very nuanced in my answer, of course, as
Well, we're all
always.
different.
But
It's just like Destiny players. There's so many different kinds of Destiny players and what they want to get out of the game. It's impossible for Bungie to please everybody. They try to please everybody. They please nobody. So
but I probably would place a bet, though, movie theaters still make the most money on the big, boring movies they have 2 and 3 and 4. So
I've already said this in the past, but I think the way movie theaters are going to go is I think it's going to be Gen Xers that want to pay that extra to have more of a smaller, more boutique, more comfortable
they've already been
private
that way
theater.
for like 5 or 10 years, haven't they?
No,
I
this
feel like
it's
most
still
of
if you
them
go to
already
the
have.
theater. No, if you go to the theaters now, it's still very much big screen, millions of chairs, and they're all the little folding cracker chairs. You know, the little cheap
Not all
chairs.
of them, though.
No, most around
No.
here-
But that's what I'm saying. The Dolby Theater, the IMAX just put in recliners as well. So they're getting there. They're approaching that point.
all my theaters have
You
been
have
full
more than
recliner
that
for 10
also.
years.
Yeah.
I don't have any of the. Yeah, and they all have like the really boutique style stuff. And
Yeah,
and
they're getting there. They're realizing that's the where they got to go if they're going to get people to come to the movie. Yeah, because no
I
one.
think
have the
we
other
are at
option,
least
too.
over 50% of the way there. So I don't think you need to say it's coming anymore. It's mostly there.
Outside of the IMAX, the Dolby, you also have theaters that are doing food service. We have
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
just south
pretty
of
much
me, the Alamo Draft House.
all of ours
You
are,
can order
yeah.
food,
Yep.
and that boutique like that,
Mhm.
Yep.
awesome.
Disney's been doing it for a long
Boutique
time.
like what you're saying.
Mhm.
You know, having the lounge chairs, the recliners, maybe more
my
spaced
theaters
out
around here do the
seating.
food service. Yeah.
They've been doing that a
Yeah,
while
we
too.
only have the one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, we have a Regal north of me. You have the Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
South of me. Then the small rinky-dink one that's cheap as shit to go to.
Yeah.
So we have them all.
Has that odor when you walk in? You're like, little damp in here. There's a little mildew in this one.
It's
The cheap theaters. The old converted theater, or it's an old converted mall or something.
Fortunately, if it doesn't smell that bad,
I got you.
It's still they still maintain it for the most part.
Yeah. I'm just,
Sure
I
they do.
guess, I'm just a Gen Xer, just clinging on to the past and not wanting to let it go, I guess. But that's just my observation. That's the reason I brought that topic up tonight. Thanks for indulging me on it, because it's been something that's been bugging me, man. And there's like I said, there's so many good movies out there now that it's unfortunate. And hopefully they find a second life in streaming. That's my hope anyway. And you said series versus movies. Series today are almost like 3 movies in one. Like the Andor season 2, it's like three Star Wars movies in one. So I consider some series like movies, because they're the way they just plot along. It's almost like a movie that's been chopped in 3 parts. But
but a series will never come to a movie theater. That was my point.
I get that too. Yeah, I get it.
Mm.
Single 2-hour entertainment and you're done. I get it. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. We'll stop there and say our goodbyes, because that is it, guys. That is everything on our show tonight. We definitely went out there this roundtable. I'm kind of glad we did, because I know we do a roundtable episode. It always seems to get back to Destiny, and that was not my intent. My intent with a roundtable episode was to talk about something totally different. And even if it's a different game or a different thing going on in the gaming industry or whatever, but all good topics tonight, guys. Thanks for bringing those to it. And thank you, Sin, for coming on tonight, man, because it's been too long, man. It's just good to see you. Good to see you're doing well. And I do worry for you guys in the industry right now with what's going on with the tariff situation. And man, I just hope it ends quickly. I really do.
Well, shoot, if I could be resilient to make it through a year and a half of BS for my last place and not making money, I'm sure I can figure out a way to kick the can down the curb enough to make it through another year if I had to.
I've heard the stories. You're a very resilient man, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, Sin. And hey, tell everyone where they can find you out there if you're so inclined.
You can find me in the club or
Saturday nights
in Discord. I'm actually going this Saturday. I'm finally getting ready to go out and have a beer. It's long overdue. But outside the club, you can find me, of course, in Discord, all the places Destiny related. And let's see, Twitter/X, Sin_media, Blue Sky, probably, Twitch, maybe, never stream. You know the drill. Kingsley of Mac.
Yep. Kind of the same, all the places, all the Discords, Al Sector Alliance, you'll find me all around. Of course, I'm a big part of the Guardian Down podcast. And we have some exciting things coming with cleaning up some of our getting started channel. So hopefully you all will see that soon.
Yep.
But Sin and I still pitter patter over in Guardian Hub some and other Discords. And so check us out everywhere. Now, I don't do anything on Twitch either. I do have a Twitch account. I used to stream some when I'm raiding, but I don't like reading the chat or talking to people on doing it, because it is a distraction, let me tell you. So if you want to check me out, just raid with me instead of counting on watching me play. And GATR can do the streaming, and then we can have fun playing while he's doing the streaming.
It's an acquired skill. It's something you have to, the way I do when I stream is I play, and then when we have to wipe, then it's when I look at stream. I notice True Vanguard does it the same way.
Well, yes, you can say it's an acquired skill, but also it doesn't mean it's a skill that everyone will like no matter what.
That's very true.
I know I don't like it, but
that's very true.
So that's fair too.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even saying tough. Like, I could do it if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I don't like it. This is what I'm saying.
Fine. Perfectly fine. Hey, shout out to HD Tech, by the way. He's been killing it in our Discord, man, doing our raid nights every week, helping people out. I just want to give him a shout out. He's been doing good things for the community. He's been doing great.
And be sure to watch his stream and distract him to prove that he does get distracted while he's raiding.
And he does fall asleep while he streams several times. I was actually playing Iron Banner one night, and I tuned into his stream, and he was literally like, "Hey, HD, huh? Yeah, I'm here." Yeah.
So that's a good point too. Great
Yes.
shout out for the week. I'll give HD props. I think I've done that fairly recently, but he does keep the raids going, and of course that is a big part of GDC. But he also has Discord also, And he's a great guy and he streams and he just loves being in the communities and he is a great supporter of Guardian Downcast. So check out HD and maybe his Discord if you want. But other than that, that's all
I'm waiting for Sin's. I'm waiting for Sin's cue.
Well, Todd, you beautiful man gator, take us out.
You can find me, Todd the Gator, everywhere at Todd the Gator, 2 D's and GATR. And that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you in the Discord. Later, Guardian.
Have a good one.
The best hub on the net.
I was hoping you'd say that.